Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Voice podcast. I'm Vernon R. Jones, managing broker, owner of Jones Homes, and for over 30 years, we have serviced the 7-county Denver metro area. Tempted to cash in on the real estate market? Let's talk about the sell, rent, buy later strategy. We know your home is your haven, your comfort zone, the place you create memories, and almost certainly your most significant investment. And if you live in a hot real estate market, as we do, where there are more buyers than sellers, your investment could pay off with massive dividends. For proof, we look no further than the current median list price for homes across America, which rose 25% in January compared with last year. So, if you bought a home 2 years ago for $400,000, in certain markets you could sell your home today for $500,000. In one word, wow. It's no wonder some homeowners are choosing to sell their homes for a tidy profit. However, there's a catch. They still need a place to live. So in this tighter than tight real estate market, many are choosing to rent rather than buy a new home, and then buy again when the right opportunity comes along. What does that mean, the right opportunity? Well, being in this business for over 30 years, I've seen multiple real estate downturns. The market has always responded positively in force after the downturn. But can the sell, rent, buy strategy work for everyone? Yes and no. Are you curious if cashing in on your home, raking in a profit, and waiting for better market conditions to buy again is right for you? Just be sure you know what could go wrong first. This is one couple's story. They kept their eye on home prices since they had their home built in 2011. They always thought of it as an investment. The builder was offering amazing incentives at that time, and they were. They landed a good deal, continued to improve their property, and then they decided, 7, 8 years later, let me put my home on the market. When one of their neighbors sold their home for an eye-popping price. And that is happening. They felt it was the largest return on their investment, and they pulled the trigger. They put their house on the market Thursday, accepted an offer on Monday for over the asking price. How much did they make? $150,000, $200,000. Those numbers vary, but let's say that's their case. Now, the couple and their two school teenage daughters rent. They did not want to purchase at the height of the market. Often, in the stock market, they tell you buy low, sell high. Kind of like what it is in real estate, but real estate is not as swiftly transitional as the stock market is. Usually people don't move into their stock. They do move into their houses with their families. And again, their memories, as we spoke of earlier. But I would tell you the first thing you need to do if you're considering doing this, research rents. Usually, if you're owning a home that's desirable in a high purchase demand area, usually it's in a high rental demand area as well. Before listing your home, be sure to research how much a similar size rental home goes for in your neighborhood. That's what I do when people call me when they're ready to sell and then rent. I tell them, well, based on your subdivision, this is a likely range of rent that you'd probably be paying. You may be shocked. You might find yourself spending more than you anticipated. Also consider your lifestyle when looking for a rental. You may have to downsize to a smaller house, a townhouse, or apartment, or even move away from your current community. I know people downtown in the urban area, they have decided to move further, sell their place and move further south or north or west or east, whatever it is, it was to get out of the urban area and be more in the suburbs, or some even in a rural community. A lot of people are going remote work, so they can basically almost live where they want. So the freedom to live where you want, not have to live where your job is definitely a factor that you must consider as you decide whichever one you're going to do. Sell and rent, or sell and buy again. And don't forget your furry roommates. Many landlords have a hard time renting to you if you have pets. Obviously, they'll ask for a higher security deposit. But in particular, large dogs or having too many pets are kind of red flags to landlords. They're kind of like, these dogs are probably going to cause more damage to the house than if I didn't have them in the property. Another thing, consider future mortgage rates. There is no doubt the Federal Reserve Board will continue to raise interest rates this year, trying to hedge off or slow down the freight train of inflation that we're dealing with right now, from which I understand is over 7% now. As rates go up, affordability for home buyers goes down. So what are rates going to be? You sign a 1-2 year lease. Who knows what rates are going to be 2 years from now? Who knows what home property values are going to be 2 years from now? Let's do this for example. You gotta be aware of banking rates, trends, and projections. But let's just use one for an example. If you snagged a 2.5% fixed interest rate for a 30-year loan on a $500,000 home last year, you're paying about $1,900, $2,000 a month. But if you end up with a 5% interest rate on the same loan down the line, you'll be paying probably in the range of $2,600 to $2,700 a month. Understand, these numbers are not taking into consideration the varying taxes, property taxes that you could be paying. These are general numbers, but you can see the difference. That looks like it's almost $600-700 difference, maybe even $800 difference for the same house. In a few years from now, a lender might not greenlight you for the same loan because lender approval all boils down to something very simple: what you can afford to pay each month. And there are federal guidelines that banks stay within that they want to put you in so they can feel more confident in doing your loan. There are obviously other loan products out there that are varied. But generally, we're talking about fixed rates on FHA, fixed rates on conventional, fixed rates on VA loans, 30-year, 15-year. Adjustable rate mortgages could be different. There's multiple stated income loans are coming back. They have different criteria. But we're just talking about generally fixed rate mortgages. A $500,000 house you could afford last year is now out of reach at a 5% interest rate. If you plan to cash out and then cash back in, first break down all those extra costs of buying and selling, because you want to know your net profit, which we always give a seller's net sheet to our clients. But then you got to figure in, okay, I got to hire some movers if you choose to do that. Other costs could entail, what is my property insurance going to be? What are the taxes going to be on this property I'm purchasing? And then whereas if you're talking about where you're renting, you ain't got to worry about property taxes. You don't have to worry about property insurance. Yeah, you usually have to get a policy if you're renting, $25, $30, $35 a month. Whereas if you own the home, insurance could be anywhere between, $150, $200 a month or more. So there are less costs potentially associated with renting, but you do not get the value escalation. You will not get the home equity of that 2 years. However, again, we cannot anticipate when a home downturn could come, and that's what people are betting on. But let's say this: when sell and rent does work. For example, I'm going to use this couple again. They decided, from living in an urban area, they decided to live in the country. Similarly, Both of them are able to work remotely. So working in the country, living in the country was something they wanted to try. They stumbled on a rental, 130 acres. They love it. And I think at this point, they've been there 6 months and they'll never go back to a subdivision again. But again, these are people that are able to do remote work. So being near a city center is not that valuable to them at this point. I would advise you continue to watch listings so you know what's selling, just so you have a frame of reference. They want to buy around the same area that they're currently living, which obviously could be a challenge because the value of land here is so high, and it's been high for a while. One bonus to renting, you always have fewer, less home maintenance projects, which is what your landlord is for. The break from all the upkeep that comes with being a homeowner is a reprieve that sometimes former homeowners enjoy, and that's why they choose to rent. But again, this is a strategy that's based on the market going to another downturn or the prices depressing a little bit. Is that possible? When that's going to happen? I can't predict. I do know at this point we have a considerable stagnant amount of home inventory available. Like I say, less than any time I've ever been in the real estate industry. But, however, this situation may work for you. If you have any further questions about it, or just questions overall, feel free to call me at 303-359-8218. This is Vernon Jones, the Real Estate Voice. Thank you for listening, and as always, please be safe.